All right, I managed to get some nature journaling in, not easy, but learning how to figure it out and withstand the discomfort of the mosquitoes and no-see-ums biting me, as well as being in a really awkward position and trying to figure out how to have my nature journaling stuff accessible without dropping anything, because I'm almost, I'm 20.5 meters off the ground, so calculate that into feet if you need to. But let's start this story from the ground floor up. As I get ready to climb this ceiba tree today, I can hear the sound of chainsaws and huge trees falling in the rainforest around me. When they fall, it's a crazy loud roaring noise as the big trees rip down neighboring trees. They're often connected by vines to other trees, and a whole bunch of canopy all falls to the ground together. And usually right after you hear that dramatic sound, you hear all the howler monkeys go off in response to that loud sound of the rainforest falling. And it's crazy to be climbing these trees and knowing, like the one I'm climbing today, for example, is just outside of the Institute for Tropical Ecology and Conservation's property. So it's totally possible that this tree that I'm climbing today could get cut down in the next year. And I'm not against cutting down trees completely. There's a time and a place for cutting down trees. I've cut down trees myself, but it just feels like as the days go by, as I spend more time here in Bocas del Toro, it just seems like there's a lot of tree cutting going on and not that much replacement, and it's often being done in a way that doesn't seem very sustainable. So it's sad to think that some of the trees that I'm climbing this year could be gone in the next year, and I think this is a microcosm of what's happening around the world on a bigger scale with the rainforest, as we lose them before we even have a chance to learn what's really going on in them. Yeah. My overarching goal is to see if nature journaling can be used in the canopy as a tool for learning and communicating the danger that this unique ecosystem is facing. At this month-long training course, I'm trying to get all the skills possible and see if nature journaling will actually work in this challenging environment. Uh-oh. Well, I guess I could use a carabiner or something. Apparently, I say uh-oh a lot while I'm climbing, and it stresses out my climbing teacher when I say it about small things. Doesn't he look stressed out? Oh, cool jumping spider. No, on top of this Xanthoxylum right here. Oh, there's a couple really cool bugs. Oh, there's a lot of cool bugs right in there, actually. Kind of want to go down and look at it. Nature is so distracting. I already want to collect some of these insects for iNaturalist. That's why I always carry tons of Ziploc bags for specimens. Bocas del Toro Archipelago is a really interesting place for endemism and species divergence. So I try to take photos and nature journal and upload tons of stuff to iNaturalist, try to identify things, because you never know when there could be even a new species or a useful observation of something new. I tried swinging back and forth to reach the small tree and try to get a better look at the weird jumping spider. No. All the bugs are gonna fall off now. Finally, I gave up. I should probably be saving my energy for climbing this huge tree. Already distracted. Only like 15 feet off the ground. Those of you that have been paying attention to my climbing and nature journaling videos have probably noticed that I'm using a different setup today. Today I am using SRT, static rope technique, which is faster and uses a single rope that is much less flexible and thinner in diameter. Up until this point, basically for several weeks, I have been using DRT, dynamic rope technique, which uses a rope wrapped all the way around the branch that comes all the way back down to the ground, and the whole rope is moving over the branch while you're climbing, which means you waste a lot of energy because you're only getting half the distance that you pull. So I'm really excited to be trying that new technique, but it's also very important that my instructor Tanner watches in case I get stuck in the tree or can't figure out how to use the mechanical ascender or descender. And this happens. People get stuck up in trees when they're learning, and if there's no one there to help them down, it's a big problem. Alright, I need to hurry up and just get to the top of this tree if I want to get any nature journaling done. Alright, I made it to the top. Now I just need to figure out how to nature journal way up here. Whoa. So it turns out this tree looks like it's in the nutmeg family. Well, it could actually be.
That might be that little. It might start raining here in a moment.
Oh, really? Tanner says it might start raining. So first I have to pull up my nature journaling stuff from down there. I'm going to spare you the 20 minutes of video of me setting up a system to pull up my nature journaling gear and all of the cussing that I did while trying to figure that up. Keep in mind that I'm hanging in a precarious position that's very uncomfortable, getting chewed by bugs while trying to figure all of this challenging mental stuff out. Finally, I started pulling up the bag. It's in such an awkward position for pulling. All right, here goes nothing. I have to take a measurement of the height for my metadata and bragging rights, of course. Meanwhile, you might have noticed a slight reggaeton beat in the background coming from miles away. Actually, that little landscape painting on the top of my page is from the little touristy beach that blasts reggaeton music all day, especially on the weekends. Supposedly 5 years ago, nobody knew about the beach and it was completely abandoned. Now it's considered one of the top 5 beaches in the world, and after making it onto that list, it's become really crowded with pina colada drinking, sunbathing tourists. Mostly Panamanian tourists, but it's a touristy beach now nonetheless. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a nice black line separating me from that beach scene, and I'm going to be a little bit creative with my metadata, making the height sort of the title here, sort of showing off the height that I'm at. And now I'm going to do a little bit of a creative sketch showing that I'm up in a tree for my metadata. I highly recommend playing around with your metadata. Make it fun, make it your own, make it meaningful. It looks like it's going to be impossible for me to climb to a place in this tree where I can harvest a specimen of the leaves for later identification. I was sort of stressing about that, but then I realized that I can use my binoculars and my drawing and my nature journaling to later help me identify what species of tree this is. Originally, I thought it was a Ceiba pitandra, but I wasn't paying very much attention. When we got closer and planned to climb the tree, we realized it was in a completely different family. I'm pretty sure it's in the Virola genus, which is the nutmeg family, but I'm not sure what species it is. So I'm going to use my nature journal as a way to collect information about it without having to collect an actual plant physical specimen. I'm just getting, the friggin' no-see-ums found me, so I'm just getting chewed. No-see-ums and mosquitoes. All I want to do is get one good plant drawing in. Okay. Who cares? Which one was I drawing? Oh, shit. There we go. Okay, so then. These are the types of high pressure nature journaling situations where everything I have been practicing over the last 5 years comes into play. I'm trying to look very carefully at the leaf veination right now. From looking at this genus of plants already in the field guide, I know that leaf veination can be really important. Even the types of hairs on the bottom of the leaves are super important. If I get back to the ground and back to the station, and later while I'm looking at the field guide realize that I didn't pay enough attention to the leaf veination, or whether the leaves had a pale colored fuzz on the bottom or a rusty colored fuzz on the bottom, I will be very upset. So it's really important to learn a little bit about your subject before you're in a situation like this so you know what to look for. Remember that in botany, the flowers and fruit are almost always the most useful part of a plant for identifying it. So luckily I found where some flowers were on this plant, and since it's an illustration, you can actually create a sort of composite image. You have to be careful here, of course, but you can take flowers that you see growing on one branch and add them to the other leafy branch. Obviously, words are always really useful. People often forget this, but words can quickly describe a lot of what's going on in a situation, such as my teacher sleeping on the ground or the bugs biting me. As much as I want to
perfectly illustrate every single little fuzzy flower on this inflorescence, and as much as it would be nice to draw every single leaf vein perfectly on all of the leaves here, I must remind you, as you watch at home, I am getting chewed by mosquitoes. The temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit with 100% humidity. I am getting crushed by the harness and losing circulation to my legs, all while donating blood to multiple species of insect. All of those little things are the kinds of things that make you get tired faster, plus all the mental energy needed for nature journaling. It's the kind of thing that makes you want a piece of dark chocolate about now. But I can't give up yet. I have to get the color of these leaves to help me identify them when I get back to the station.
Alright, I managed to get some sketching in, mainly to help me identify the species. I got metadata, and it's not easy. Super tough, uncomfortable position here, and I'm about to try to do watercolor.
There's a couple watercolor habits that are going to help you as a nature journaler, especially in the tropics, high humidity, or in other situations where you need to work fast. First of all, use a water brush that puts out a little bit less water. I always have more than one. This is my drier one. Don't mix up too much water in your mixing area because then you won't be able to close your palette quickly. Obviously, keep each wash on your page as dry as possible, and if you can, do it a la prima so you can just get everything in one go. Sometimes that means making the edges of each color barely touch each other, and always starting with palest colors first and working up slowly.
I'm losing circulation to my arm. Oh. Yeah, dude, I'm getting so chewed, and I just sometimes have to just bear it because my hands are, I can't like slap them or anything. Alright, I think that's all I can do. Mosquitoes just bit me in the ear and whatever.
I'm not sure if I got exactly what I wanted on this mission, nature journaling in the Canopy, but I did my best and I learned a lot, and you can tell I'm ready to go down at this point.
thanks to all my Patreon members for making this show possible. And if you want to find out more and join the community of people that believe that nature journaling can make the world a better place, check out this link right here. And if you can't wait all the way until next week for the next episode of the show, check out this playlist here.